Who are you with?
Sir, I'm with NBC News.
Oh, that's the same one. I don't want to talk to NBC anymore. I think you're so discredited.
The Trumper and his administration, they are not messing around. If you're a woke welfare collector in the mainstream media, the message could not be any clearer. If you're gonna lie, if you're gonna create myths, fairy tales, at minimum, you're going to be ignored. Or you could experience a severe case of the Bruce Caboose when your ass is kicked out of the White House. Now, obviously, this can be a very slippery slope. You don't want people in the media being thrown out because the Trumper disagrees with them. But lying, making shit up, that is unacceptable. There seems to be some confusion in the media as to what their job actually is. There is a huge difference between reporters at the White House and the paid propagandists that we see on television. When you're a reporter, your job is to report the news. If the Trumper shows up with a vicious spray tan, you don't add your personal mayonnaise to the shit sandwich that you're preparing. Hell, you're not even supposed to be preparing the sandwich. It's your job to report it. You don't speculate. You don't claim that the Trumper wasted 20 minutes of his time lying in the tanning bed. You simply report that Donnie got sprayed down with the orange juice. For months now, the Trumper has been in a battle with the mainstream media. He has no problem calling out reporters. He has no problem highlighting their lies. But the Trumper, he looks like a docile wolf blitzer. Woof, woof, woof. The Trumper looks like a domesticated wolf when compared to the real wolf, Karoline Leavitt. You know, one thing I like and respect about women, they are not afraid to be vicious. Women can be scary. When my wife is cleaning the house, everyone knows, get the hell out of there. As soon as the dogs hear the vacuum, they are running towards the back door begging to get outside. Women are not afraid to speak their minds, and they can be especially brutal with other women. For years now, I have been telling you guys that one of the main reasons the WNBA is a huge embarrassing failure is because the dump has never been supported by women. Of course, it's not hard to figure out why. Sunday afternoon, Molly Miller, she became an instant star. If I had said the name Molly Miller on Saturday, most people would think that she was my accountant. By Sunday afternoon, Molly Miller was known as the head coach for the women's basketball team at Grand Canyon. Hell, most people probably didn't know that Grand Canyon had a women's basketball team. I mean, kind of hard to play basketball on a piece of land that looks like it's been trampled by the Lizzo. But there is a reason that Molly Miller became an instant star. Men are attracted to her and women can relate to her. And the reason women can relate to her is because Molly Miller looks like the girl next door. She's girly, she's feminine, perfectly applied makeup, blonde hair. Molly Miller looks like the girl that is sitting next to your wife at the salon. This is not rocket science. The formula is simple. Yet for some reason, the WNBA just can't seem to figure it out, and it's the reason they continue to struggle. Women aren't going to support women they can't relate to, and women damn sure aren't afraid to call out other women when they think they are full of shit, which is exactly what happened yesterday between the lovely Karoline Leavitt and Kaitlan Collins. Katie, woo! Katie, woo! Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. This morning on second channel, talked about the possible extinction of Unrivaled. Ratings throughout the season were an absolute disaster. I explain why Unrivaled will cease to exist if Caitlin Clark doesn't join the league. So if you haven't already, head over to the second channel and subscribe. Also, one more thing. Wanted to tell you guys how much I appreciate you for carrying me through this month. March has been brutal. It has been a struggle for most of us here on YouTube. Even channels with millions of subscribers, they are seeing drastic declines in views. Now, I'm not worried about it. Things will improve, but these are the times when you need a strong, loyal following. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys showing up for me every day. Promise you, it does not go unnoticed. All right, let's get back to the Rue. Yesterday afternoon, the Rue was in attendance as White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, sweet Karoline, was speaking to the media. They were discussing the potentially invalid pardons that were issued by our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden. Trumper, he's been doing some investigating, called up his good friend Dick Tracy and asked him to analyze the signatures on these pardons. According to the Trumper, the digital signatures on these pardons, they are different from Johnny B's usual signature. Donnie's trying to make the case that Johnny B. Biden was not making these decisions. You know, if this were any other president, if this were Barack Obama being questioned or Billy the Clinton, I would say that the Trumper is wasting his time, but because it's well known that John Biden was damn near out of his mind over the last 4 years, I think it's reasonable for the Trumper to question every decision that he made. Did Johnny B make these decisions, or were these decisions being made by someone else? I think it's a fair question. Yesterday, Karoline Leavitt, she was addressing the media, and the infamous Rue from CNN was asking questions. KC, what the hell is the Rue doing at a press conference? I thought she hosted a primetime dump at CNN. Yeah, she is still hosting the dump in prime time for now, but Rue has been working overtime. She is working 2 jobs at CNN, and I think she's only being paid for 1, which is fine because Kaitlan Collins was overpaid for the results or the complete lack thereof that she is producing in prime time. But anyway, the Rue is asking Karoline Leavitt meaningless questions. She's wasting time asking sweet Karoline questions that the Rue should be looking for the answers to. And Karoline Leavitt, she was not afraid to let her know. Watch for yourself.
Talking about issuing preemptive pardons to these people.
But was he aware of his signature being used on every single pardon? That's a question you should ask the Biden White House.
Is there any evidence on that he wasn't aware of it?
You're a reporter. You should find out.
Okay,
Sean.
Vicious. Absolutely vicious. If you're going to approach Karoline Leavitt, you better have your shit together, because if you don't, she is going to humiliate you. This is why the Trumper selected her to be his press secretary. There's a reason the last 6 press secretaries have been women, and whatever gender KJP LGBT is choosing to identify with. Us men, we can sometimes have a tendency to take it easy on the ladies. If a dude did what Karoline Leavitt did to the Rue yesterday, the media would accuse him of misogyny. This asshole, he is mansplaining to this damsel in distress. He is treating Kaitlan Collins like a woman instead of treating her like the Rue. But Karoline Leavitt, she was not afraid to tell Kaitlan Collins to do her job. Speaking of her job, the Rue continues to struggle in prime time. Now, in fairness to Kaitlan Collins, the entire primetime lineup at CNN is struggling, but Scott Jennings, he is starting to build momentum. Well, Casey, don't you mean Abby Phillip? No, I mean Scott Jennings. Abby Phillip is a great host, but Scott Jennings is the star of the show. Throughout the month of March, Kaitlan Collins is averaging around 600,000 viewers. In the key 25 to 54 demo, the Rue is averaging 138,000. Now, Abby Phillip's overall ratings are slightly lower than Kaitlan Collins, but I think some of that has to do with the time slot. Rue is on at 8 o'clock Central. Abby Phillip follows her an hour later. But the interesting comparison is the key demo. Even though Abby Phillip's overall ratings are slightly lower, she is outperforming Kaitlan Collins in the demo. Abby Phillip is averaging 141,000 compared to 138,000 for the Rue. Like I told you guys last week, Abby Phillip has stumbled upon a formula that works. Every night, Scott Jennings, he engages in a war of intelligence against 4 deacons at Woke United Methodist. Abby Phillip is kind of like the referee for the fight. She is responsible for asking the right questions and making sure they hit their commercial breaks on time. But Scott Jennings is the star. Every night, the American hero, I am a real American. Every night, the American hero Scott Jennings, he engages in battle with the deacons, and every night, he is victorious. The American hero causes dudes like Mel Torrey to have emotional meltdowns. He causes the collection of unknowns at CNN to exhibit symptoms of stage 4 OMB. Orange Man bad! At this point, I'm surprised that CNN's been able to find deacons who are still willing to appear on the show. What won't surprise me, though, is if CNN makes some adjustments to their primetime lineup. Abby Phillip is building momentum. When I first started monitoring her ratings, Abby Phillip was averaging 450,000 viewers. Now, she is gaining on Kaitlan Collins. It has been almost 2 years since the Rue was given her chance in prime time. It's been almost 2 years of minimal growth. The 8 o'clock hour is prime real estate. There's a reason they call it prime time. That hour is valuable, and it's being wasted on the Rue when you have another show that's gaining popularity. I don't think CNN is going to make this change anytime soon. They'll want to see if Abby Phillip can maintain this momentum. But if she keeps building throughout the summer, I would not be surprised to see her take Rue's time slot by the end of the year. Give me your thoughts on this. Kaitlan Collins, viciously roasted by Karoline Leavitt. The Rue continues to struggle in the ratings in prime time. Do you think we could see Abby Phillip take Rue's time slot? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.